Welcome to Sunday morning online coffee and conversation. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley in Lafayette, Colorado. Centers for Spiritual Living is an organization that teaches that each of us is a divine being, what we think and say matters, and that you can change your life by changing those things, changing what you think, changing what you say. And our vision, our passion is inspiring us to uplifting all of us to be able to transform the world and transform ourselves. We start each one of these talks with a type of prayer that we call affirmative prayer. It's not about beseeching outside God, but about manifesting that divine energy within ourselves, bringing it forward, declaring the truth of who we are and what this day will be. And Jim Shink is going to do our opening invocation.
Take a deep breath while we enjoy this beautiful Sunday morning. Now, go to that place, that silent place in the middle of your being, the center of your being, your connection with the one God, the one spirit, the one mind that connects us all. We want to enjoy this message and let it inspire us and let it carry out into your day and this beautiful day so that you can enjoy all the things that were meant to be yours. I am so grateful for this day, for this life, for this opportunity to show God's love as I walk through this world. I am so grateful, so happy for all of my blessings. And I truly believe that these things will manifest as we release them and let them go and let them grow and let them manifest the good that is you are deserving. Thank you, thank you. And I close with, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Jim. Our speaker today is Lara Brzezinski. She is here on this planet to be a joyful light and absolutely is. Lara is a licensed spiritual practitioner with the Centers for Spiritual Living, provides spiritual guidance sessions, and offers up various workshops on conscious parenting, spirituality and business, healthy relationships, and effective communications. Her passions include her family, skiing, mountain biking, the family pets, and quiet spiritual study. Lara lives to serve others in realizing this day as the best day ever. Awesome. Thank you, Lara. Go ahead.
Good morning, and thank you. If you don't mind, I invite you to mute your microphone so there's no barking dogs in the background. But welcome. I am so grateful to be here and excited to talk about our message today. And I'm going to be offering a number of questions, which I will put in the chat at the end of my message, and we'll also talk about in the conversation. However, if you don't already have pen and paper handy or document open on your computer to write on, I invite you to go take a moment and grab that, because this is just the beginning of an opportunity for you to look ahead and really intentionally shape the rest of your life. So our topic today is, what would faith do now? And I bring this topic because this time of year, so many people are acting and behaving in a way around a collective faith, Christmas, and the birth of Jesus Christ. So many actions that people take each and every day that they've been taking over the past few months, through the rest of this month, and even into next year, are all affected by their faith in Christmas and what that means to them. And Some people, a lot of us, are buying presents, wrapping them, buying a Christmas tree, like we talked about, hanging decorations, hanging up lights, lawn decor, hosting or attending parties, some of which they don't even want to be going to. Quite often, that's a work party. They're pushing aside their health and indulging in foods they normally would not be eating, or not quite to the success. Again, cookies in our household. We're setting aside a day to exchange presents that maybe that are being given just because of the expectation that Christmas brings. Anybody else relate? It affected even what I wore today because of my hair color. Red doesn't really go anymore. So I still chose my favorite color, but I found these holiday festive earrings to match. Why? Why do we do all of this? Because our faith, our beliefs, customs, and society has directed us so. And I am choosing to focus just on Christmas because that's the faith tradition I was raised in. And maybe you're not practicing Christmas anymore. Maybe you have other holiday traditions that you follow. So just consider, as I talk about Christmas, what is it that you do out of faith because of the tradition and what you were raised in or what you have chosen to adopt? So my question to start with, have you ever stopped to think about how much time you invest in this holiday season? How much time you may have invested in the past if you had kids at home, all the things that we do to support our kids. It isn't just one day. It's months, weeks, days, hours, minutes. And depending upon how much time you invest prior to Christmas or your own holiday tradition determined, will determine how much time you invest after this holiday. Taking down and putting away the decorations, paying back the credit card bills, getting our health back on track after too many cookies, and so much more. When we think about all that we invest into this holiday season, I invite you to start asking why. Why do we do all of this? And why would we want to examine our faith and our beliefs around the birth of Jesus Christ? And Christmas? Mainly because over the years, more information has come to light about who Jesus was, when and how he lived, when and where he was born. And it calls us to question everything we have been told about what Christmas is all about. Another aspect of Christmas that begs us to examine our beliefs is Santa Claus. How many of us were taught by our families that Santa Claus exists? That a man dressed in a red and white suit squeezes down the chimney and delivers presents under our tree or in our stockings or on our shoes on the front porch? This is a perfect example of why we should examine our faith and our beliefs. I personally don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. I don't put faith into presents magically appearing under the Christmas tree. And yet society is still pushing this false belief onto children, creating faith in something that they will discover isn't true. We've all experienced this. That realization that something we put faith in fell away. Santa Claus, the tooth fairy, that our parents would stay married and live in the same house, that we would keep our job. One of mine was when I was laid off from my job from a company that seemed to be growing and thriving. And I had faith that I would have that job until I made the decision to step away from it, preferably years away. And this brought me to a crossroad. I had to make a decision that felt monumental around what I would do next. I couldn't see how things would turn out. It was one of those moments where everything seemed uncertain, no clear answers, no guarantees. And I remember sitting quietly one evening, just feeling the weight of what am I going to do, when a thought whispered in my heart. What if you trusted? What if you just took one step forward, even if you couldn't see the rest of the path? So I did. I took that first step, not knowing where it would lead, but trusting that something greater would guide me. And that was deciding to stop looking for another job that would profess security, yet truly wasn't guaranteed. I decided to begin and grow my life coaching business, Radiant Joy Coaching. And this created an experience where I was actively faithing it, stepping forward in trust, and witnessing the results unfold. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt where I didn't believe I could do it and wanted to quit a lot. But with each step, things began to unfold. Unexpected opportunities appeared. The resources I needed arrived, and the path I couldn't see at first became clearer with every step I took. I began speaking, teaching, coaching. I created workshops, worksheets. I was then invited to present my workshops both online and in person. And my business grew because I not only made that first decision in faith and took that first step, but I kept taking steps. And looking back, I realized that faith isn't just about believing everything will work out. It's about acting as if it will, even when we don't have all the answers. And so that's what I wanted to explore with you today. What would faith do now? What does faith ask of us when life feels uncertain or when the way forward seems unclear? And we're going to dive into our understanding of faith, how it shows up in our lives, and how we can question or affirm it, exploring how faith calls us to act in uncertain times, how it supports us in every area of our lives at different stages, and finally, how we can move forward consciously and powerfully, leaning on faith to guide and sustain us. So before diving into the what, where, and how of faith, let's just take a quick moment to reflect on what faith is and what drives it, our beliefs. So faith is often described using words like trust, confidence, belief. It's the complete trust or confidence in something or someone without tangible proof. Another way of saying that is a firm belief in something for which there's no evidence. And we know that in a spiritual sense, faith often involves a conviction rooted in belief in a higher power, divine plan, or guiding principles. Many of us are familiar with the scripture, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's Hebrews 11:1. And then faith goes beyond logic. It's about trusting in the unseen, the intangible, and the yet to come. It's what propels us forward when the path isn't fully clear, believing that each step will reveal itself as we take it. Faith can look like moving to a new state, trusting you'll find a place to live, build a community, and locate everything you need to survive. Faith is going to bed at night, believing you'll wake up the next morning. Faith is two parents deciding to have a child, trusting they'll figure out how to nurture and raise them into a good human being. And we're still figuring that out. Faith can look like taking bold steps, simply practicing patience, offering compassion, or choosing hope over fear. Think of faith like walking in the fog with a lamp. Sometimes all you can see is just enough to take that next step. So I want to ask you for a moment to just think about this. What does faith mean to you? Is it something you actively practice, or does it feel passive, like hope, waiting for proof? And we can talk about this in our conversation at the end, but I just wanted you to start thinking about that. One of my many stories of faith in my life was, it's ironic Robert gets to listen to my perspective of this, but I was 7 months pregnant with our second child, and our first had just turned 2, when Robert asked me to pack up our lives and move to Denver so he could go to ministerial school in person. We were living in Salt Lake City in our first home that we had just bought and moved into just 3 years prior. And not only did he want us to move, but within 3 months, right about the time our child was going to be coming into our lives. And from the outside, this looked crazy. People asked me if we were nuts, especially my family. But I knew when he asked that this was his calling and the reasons why he wanted to be here in Denver and not have to go to school by distance learning. It made sense. It made sense to him. It made sense to me. It made sense to our family. And we leaned into our faith that we could do this because, yeah, it did not seem like it would make sense. Was it easy? No. Did I cry a lot? Yep. Was the way forward clear over those next 3, 4, 6 months? Nope. But in the end, was it worth it? Absolutely. So many amazing opportunities presented themselves simply because we had moved to this area. And it was for me, for our kids, for Robert, for his ministerial education, and then other experiences that kept coming. And so even in the midst of it, we didn't question our decision. We just knew it felt uncomfortable, challenging, all of that stuff. And I can still say 20 years later, it was one of the most impactful and profound demonstrations of faith that we each experienced individually and together. So where does our faith come from? What determines our faith? Well, our faith is deeply connected to our underlying beliefs, those thoughts or ideas that we hold to be true based on our experiences, evidence, or conditioning. Our beliefs are shaped by culture, upbringing, personal experiences, and societal norms. They drive our action, our behaviors, and even our expectations. But unlike faith, beliefs can be questioned, challenged, and reshaped. While faith transcends circumstances, beliefs are often reshaped by them. This means our beliefs drive what we put our faith in. And by examining and evolving our beliefs, we can consciously choose where to put our faith. Meaning, once we have faith in something, we are trusting in a certain experience or outcome. And what drives that faith is our underlying beliefs. And we can change or strengthen what we put our faith in when we challenge or strengthen those inherent beliefs. Most of us would agree that our beliefs are formed early in life, shaped again by parents, religion, society, and our own experiences at that age, at that time. And initially, they serve to keep us safe or help us navigate the world as we understood it then. Quite often, we aren't even aware of some of our beliefs because they're just a part of us. Every belief serves us in some way. So, for example, a child might learn early on that fire is dangerous and can burn her. And this belief helps her respect its power. However, if that belief evolves into an overwhelming fear of fire, so much so that she avoids using a gas stove or starting a campfire, it can be detrimental to her fully experiencing life. And it would invite an invitation to be reevaluated. So while some of these beliefs have served us well, others limit. Some were great when we are kids, but aren't applicable as we age and mature. And the only way to discern which beliefs are helping or hindering us is to question them. And since our faith is driven by our beliefs, we start by examining our faith. What are we conscious of and what are we unconscious of? And again, how do we do this? By asking questions. What do I have faith in? What do I believe about myself, my relationships, society, the world? Where am I placing my faith? In myself, in others, in the government, in the economy? I started asking myself this simple but powerful question: is this serving me? Whether it's a belief I've held for years, a routine I'm stuck in, or even the way I react to challenges. This helps me to pause and examine, is this aligned with who I want to be? Is it moving me forward toward the life I'm called to live, a life I would love living? Because here's the thing, faith doesn't mean holding on to everything tightly. Sometimes it means letting go of what no longer serves and trusting that something better is on the other side. While these questions may seem simple, they are profound. Start with the big picture and then zoom into a specific area of life where things aren't as you'd like them to be. And keep questioning until you uncover the core beliefs driving your experiences. And when you get to that underlying belief, you can ask yourself, does this belief serve my highest evolution, expansion, and awareness? Is this serving me in my life right now? And by questioning our beliefs, we uncover which ones no longer serve, and we can consciously reshape them. But why do this? Why is it important to examine and question our faith and our belief? Because faith inspires action. Faith is not static, it's dynamic, and it calls us to take action. Faith is that bridge between where we are right now and where we want to go. It's what inspires us to take bold steps, even if the destination isn't fully visible. It reminds us that we don't need to see the entire road to take that first step down it. And to take that first step, though, sometimes we have to take a pause and strengthen our foundation. And a simple way to do this is to empower ourselves with empowering beliefs, asking ourselves, what would a belief that serves my highest good look like? What would I like to take on as a belief? What inspired action can I take today to align with that belief? And this simple exercise gets us out of what might be holding us back and focuses on what we would love to experience instead. And another way to figure out what our beliefs are is to take a step back and look at our lives objectively. So think on this for a minute. If I were to describe my life as if I were a character in a story, what would the chapter of the story of my life say right now? What beliefs would I have had guiding me that led me to create what I am experiencing in my life right now? You are actively writing the story of your life. Before you is a page that has some writing on it. It is today. Behind you is everything you've already experienced. And beyond, today's currently in process page are blank pages. The rest of your story isn't written. You have the opportunity to consciously affect what comes next. And as I'm speaking individually, this exploration of faith applies not only to each of us as individuals, but also to this beautiful community. And let's reflect on the legacy of this community. What have been the core beliefs through the different chapters of its history? And what are the community's beliefs right now? And what do they need to be to move forward? Faith and belief guides communities just as they guide individuals. And when translated into collective action, they can inspire powerful change. So I invite you to reflect on and discuss these questions as you continue to evolve as a community. So bringing this all together, our faith is shaped by our beliefs and validated by the experiences we live. If we want to understand where we're placing our faith, we need to only look at the results and experiences in our lives. And when we desire something different, question the underlying beliefs that guide us and then actively transform them. You have the opportunity to ask yourself these powerful questions, to dive deep and uncover profound truths about yourself. With this new awareness of where you place your faith, ask yourself, what would faith do now? And what could that look like in your own life? And after our conversation today, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on these questions we've explored and then ask yourself, what is one step I feel called to take, but have hesitated because I couldn't see the whole path? What would be one faith-inspired action that I could take in this upcoming week? And as a community, the same holds true. What is one step we feel called to take together, but have hesitated because the outcome isn't clear yet? What faith-based action can we take this week to strengthen and uplift this community? And again, I bring it back to the question, why does this all matter? Because you have one beautiful, amazing life. The very fact that you're here today is proof. You're not done yet. There are still stories to create, challenges to meet, joys to discover. So look back on your story, not to dwell, but to gain the insight and empowerment to move forward with boldness and courage. And then look ahead with the unwavering conviction that your faith can be a powerful catalyst for change, growth, and fulfillment. And when you're uncertain or hesitant, ask yourself one simple but profound question: what would faith do now? Thank you.
Thank you, Lara. Oh my gosh. You gave us so many good journal questions. I'm going to have to go back and write all those down. And lots to talk about. Faith and belief guide communities just as they inspire individuals. I love that line. All right, but before I stop the recording and we do begin our discussion, I do want to remind us all that we believe that one gives where one receives spiritual nourishment and inspiration. So if you found value in the message, if you want to contribute to our work or make a donation of any size, please make an offering at or make a donation at cslbouldervalley.org/donate, our website. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now. We can begin our discussion. If you're watching this recording and would like to be part of the conversation next time, please find the Zoom link on our website, cslbouldervalley.org. We meet online via Zoom the first, the third, and the fifth Sundays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And so we hope to see you. Okay.